Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisol mu fine.
What?
Bisol mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisol mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
We begin this morning's political deep dive with a man who's never been afraid to speak his mind. Joining me is Honorable Almameh Gibba, independent member of the Gambia's National Assembly and a prominent ally of former President Yahya Jammeh. Known for his bold positions and sharp critiques, Honorable Gibba has a vocal figure in debates around governance, accountability, and national direction. Today we'll focus on the damning audit reports that have shaken public confidence, preview the 2026 budget expected to be laid tomorrow, and of course explore the growing controversy surrounding Jammeh's declared return to the Gambia. Honorable Gibba, welcome back to Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. And first, let me congratulate you on your academic achievement earlier this year. In April, you graduated with a master's degree in international relations and diplomacy from the University of the Gambia. What does this academic achievement mean for Honorable Gibba, and how will it affect your political career?
Yeah, thank you very much. And I said assalamu alaikum to my viewers, more so for the Councillor constituency. The reason why I'm here is because of them, you know. So I said charity begins at home.
Absolutely.
I am really proud of them, and they haven't regretted electing me as their representative. Secondly, thank you for acknowledging my completion of my master's program. This will open doors for me to decide politically to move or to move into the academia. For us, we all know, to tell you the fact, politics has never been my way. But because of the growing demand, I work in Gambia for over 20 years. So I was demanded. It was a national call. It was a constituency call to answer to the call of my people. So when your people called, you dare not to say no to it. So this was why I am with them. And I'll continue with them until they said, I think, virtually, we need a change. Okay.
So that guarantees that in 2027 you will seek re-election.
Yes, so we'll fight again, because we believe that as the status quo remain, we need strong representation for a dying trajectory of this boat called the Gambia, the way it is, the direction that is seen is going through. So without proper representation, I think we'll end up losing a lot of passengers in the boat.
Fantastic.
So representation is core, and I believe as every representative, academia pursue is core. Parliament is not a joke. Parliament is not a primary or whatever game. Without improving yourself, Peter, you couldn't survive in that end.
Okay.
And that's what had pushed me into, because ideally I had taught this way before 5 years. At least a master's degree with a PhD or double master's. So actually, I have also this year registered again for another master's program in MSc in public admin. Currently, I think this is our third month.
Well done.
So hopefully,
congratulations again. All right, let's begin our conversation proper, starting with the audit reports. What's your take on the revelations and the government's response so far?
It's not a surprise, Peter. Looking at this government, audit reports were never revealed since they came into office. I can tell you this. for 2020, 2021, 2019 or so. When this was done, I said it clearly, and I think I will also repeat with coffee time here. It was never the intention of government to publish this report. Never. It was never their intention, because they do know that without publishing this report, they are soup. Donors would not walk on. So it was just like they were whole at their tongue. Okay. That this must be done in order for us to get it done. So this was why.
Yeah, but government also argues that during your friends' years, during the Jammeh era, yes, audit reports were equally not published. No, and definitely not discussed the way they're being discussed now, and not tabled in Parliament the way they are done now.
No, that's a wrong conception. People, audit reports were done. Then it was FPAG alone, not PEC. You could be very interested, and you can follow, make search, that whenever Parliament raises this public account committee, Jammeh himself becomes very focused into this. You realize that laying the report, automatically people are arrested and charged. Laying the report in Parliament, these are evidence.
You're saying Jammeh was more action-oriented on the
Indeed, you
findings
cannot compare. You cannot compare the Barrow government and Jammeh government in terms of fighting for corruption.
But why were you not discussing audit reports and their findings?
No, it was discussed. It was laid in Parliament. When Parliament laid, the head of state takes action. So some of these audit reports which were laid in Parliament, Jammeh took actions. Others were,
Can you remember any particular action that Jammeh took based on the findings of an audit report?
No, this were, I think, a year when I think some findings, gross findings were made. I cannot remember actually the issues, but I can tell you FPAG was more seriously taken in Jammeh's time in terms of implementation. Because I can tell you, the COVID-19 report, the recommendations were done. Yes, still those people who destroy millions, they are still with government. It was brushed out of the carpet. So most of these salient issues that we are seeing this government doing, it's just like do recommendation, do your findings, Parliament raise it, it becomes a scrap thing. And now we've also seen that COVID-19 issue is still a challenge, front and back with the Parliament and the executive, and no implementation is done with that. And finally, we've also seen some of the salience report that are emanating from the Gambian National Assembly, which is not taken seriously, because we believe if investigation is supposed to be, the like of GPA, the scandal that is going on, people, I can tell you, I'm also part of Public Enterprise Committee.
What about the GPA? What scandal is going on now?
The GPA scandal that they've investigated, they are now saying that people who are caught should pay, but not holding them ransom. Okay. So you see, issues of some of those issues that are going on becomes, and now the issue of even the Gov't, or how to call it, the petroleum saga of Russian oil. The Russian oil saga, yes. You hear different views of a minister coming and saying that what Parliament is saying, these are mere opinions, and it will become factual when investigations are done. So it's just like they will come and play the mind games of people without respecting the views of Parliament. Parliament said, this is what we are finding, investigate, put a test to what they are asking, then we come with a resolute information to inform.
So do you think the Assembly is doing enough to, hold the executive accountable? You come up with all these findings, all these recommendations, all right? You require the executive to implement them. The executive fails to implement them. What do you do as a National Assembly?
These are also some of the issues that, in terms of triggers, the issue of laws that are governing powers of Parliament. Here in the National Assembly, we can pass resolutions, put recommendations, but the implementation is in the hands of the executive. And if they fail to implement, we can only query, but we cannot act. So these are some of the challenges that they face. For example, if it was so, by now we could have even censored the issue of COVID-19 people who had also embezzled a lot of funds. That today could have been very beneficial to our health sector, to our educational sector, to our road infrastructural sector. So most of the issues that we do set recommendations. So the executive should be bold enough to take the lead and now do the needful. Okay. So when they fail, it becomes a challenge for us to be able to at least put.
So in that case, don't you think that there needs to be reforms so that the National Assembly is able to, strengthen transparency and prevent misuse of public funds?
Now, reforms, I think, is agenda. I do tell them, this current government, Barrow and his cohort, Peter, this government is not ready for reform.
Now, I'm talking about reforms in the National Assembly.
Yeah.
So that you have those powers, so that if you make recommendations and the executive does not implement the recommendations, you act.
Yeah, reforms is necessary. That's why even us, most of members are complaining even our standing orders. Our standing orders and laws that guides the power of the National Assembly. And even the Constitution itself, not only the standing order, because the standing order is derived from the Constitution. So you don't have a law that is independently different from the Constitution. Whatever we're doing at the National Assembly, we derive our powers from the Constitution. So the Constitution itself, there are issues that I think could be amended to suit the reality. Could be amended to suit and increase the powers of the National Assembly, so as for us to have a trajectory move in whatever we are to do in terms of representation. So when that is not done, it is just like the flagging. We'll just flag the executive, but we cannot put them to test. So I think these are add-ups that I think National Assembly members are hearing me. We could do the needful and make sure some of these irregularities are solved.
Let's talk about the 2026 budget. It's expected to be late tomorrow. What are your expectations and concerns about the direction of this budget based on the 2025, the 2024, 2023, and so on and so forth?
Yeah, the expectation, I think, is just a daily routine because program-based budgeting is not in place, where you could see that each and every line ministry will be able to be accounted, be able to at least be screened based on the performance that they are doing. I can tell you it's only the Minister of Higher Education, or I can even say Minister of Education, that is anchoring into more of program-based budgeting, where you could be able to
Well, we have two ministries of education.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
One is higher education, the other one is basic. Which one now?
Higher education is more onto program-based. And realistically, you will see what they're doing. It's not a dead ministry. There are ministries that are dead.
For instance?
Look at how to call it, Minister of Agriculture.
It's not dead, Honorable G.
What have they gained into periods that we had?
They're sponsoring projects all over the place, we are told all the time.
These are simple things. You go to my Fonyi, in Fonyis, billboards in each and every road, agricultural projects. Visit there, you only have a stockade fence of a garden, empty without nothing. I can tell you, use your investigative journalists, do the crisscrossing in the country. I am telling you, billboards are available. Rural whatever project, this whatever project, but visit there.
So they
nothing is there. So I think, I don't know, Peter, is simple. When you employ somebody who doesn't know anything about agriculture, what do you expect?
Well, the argument always is the Minister of Agriculture does not necessarily have to be a farmer or agriculture,
no, it's not about a farmer.
Or agriculturist.
No, it's not about a farmer.
Because they will be dealing with policies.
Yes, they'll be dealing with policies. But somebody who doesn't understand agriculture, a policy comes in agriculture, how can he implement it?
The experts are there, the permanent secretaries.
We all know in agriculture, you have a lot of agricultural experts that are on the PhD. But I can tell you, people who are manning in terms of structural approach in the ministry, more onto onto projects. You'll see others will now go into secondment. So this ghost project that we are seeing in the whole country with billboards all over are manned by those expertise. So they rather go into projects than being in the ministry to make sure the food aspect of ministry stands. So now, when you look at the agricultural aspects that we have as a country, flat land, salty water is a blink in the Gambian context. Swampy and go to the rural Gambia. Flat lands are all available. What have we produced? So these are things that we see that we will only be echoing issues of this. It becomes a challenge. And now when you also come to defense, defense as a ministry.
Another dead ministry according to you.
Yes, because what I'm just trying to put here is this. It's not only you said this is the operational budget, this is the P budget, these are X, Y, Z. We need to see transformation into allocations. And now when you come to the Minister of Finance itself, a whole chunk of money are laid into different budget lines. Now when you look at various sectors that we see in terms of, for example, digital economic, digital economic alone, what have they digitalized in the country? Because when you ask and said, now for us, our budget is a challenge for us. We don't even have budgetary allocations. So when allocations are not forthcoming, you realize that some of the issues that they are to implement will only be saying, okay, we want to do X, Y, Z, we want to do X, Y, Z. So when all these elements are not in place, it becomes a challenge. And in all these issues that we are working on, the Minister of Finance should be very serious into digitalization.
Well, so we are digitizing. Look at what is happening in GRA. Let
me just give you this example, where I think the chunk of...
But you will acknowledge that we
are in the process of digitalization, and GRA is doing very great in terms of digitalization. But the lead should be the Minister of Finance. For example, look at our rents and rates.
GRA is on the Ministry of Finance, isn't it?
Rents and rates collection. Today I can tell you, some people have lands that are not even built. But ask them, when have they paid their rents? Because why it's not digitalized?
Is that not a municipal problem rather than a central government issue?
Not only, because they collect. If the municipality collect now, it's the responsibility of government. The municipalities are into the arms of government. Local government ministries should be able to at least put all these things. If our lands are not digitalized, what do you expect?
Problems, and we have more than enough problems in,
so these are all issues that I think could work.
I'll tell you another ministry that claims it is not dead. Ministry of Health. The minister was just here a couple of days ago telling us all the good work that they've been doing, which apparently ordinary Gambians don't want to see, especially those who are on social media.
No, it's not about they don't want to see. You know, Peter, the reality is I can come to the media and speak about what I'm doing, policies and programs, issues. But I can give you one example.
Yeah, but he talks about structural, development and adjustment. Yes.
I visited Ndemban. I was shocked. I personally took a picture and sent to the director who heads and saying, is this a ghost or a hospital?
What was missing? What was the...
Because when you look at all issues, dates were all over in Ndemban. It was unbearable. The situation in Ndemban is just like a dead row. If you deny me, these are facts. If you deny me work today, go to Ndemban and do your observation itself. It will shock you. And if the minister comes here and tell you about improvement he's doing into the health sector, you will be amazed. Now go to Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. Accident and emergency unit, people are lying bare floor. They use their own mattresses and lie bare floor. And this was a hospital which they said they are renovating.
Well, it has been renovated.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But now why the bare
Well, you have seen that it has been renovated. Maybe it's just the numbers that are overwhelming.
No, if the number is overwhelming, it's not about the renovation, Peter.
Because the people are referred all the way, from Basse right through
to even they refer. These are failure into the health sector. Has been improved to a major hospital. Soma, the same. You come to Buyam, the same. Brikama. So if these major hospitals have been capacitized, it will reduce the number of burden cases that are coming to Banjul. So if Farafenya is dead, nothing.
Okay. So the
Basse is dead, Bansang is dead, Buyam is dead. You expect all these people will queue into Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. So I think the general notion here is most of these health sectors are a problem, and I most sincerely said it is the responsibility of the minister through the president to be visiting some of these areas for him to be able to ascertain. And now things could move better.
Okay, so the 2026 budget will be laid tomorrow.
Yes.
What would you like to see more investment in? Health, education, infrastructure, or something else?
For me, my notion for the 2026 budget is of more or less a repeat of 2025. Because there's not much improvement into it.
Okay, so where would you like them to put more?
So for me, general notion here is education is core. But when you look at the skills, look at TVET itself. Now, they're working into revitalizing technical and vocational skills. And this will connect the youthful population, trying to discourage them from the Bagwe syndrome. So if a budget doesn't reflect in that area, it becomes a problem. So I believe, and we will also argue, to be more into educational sector, both basic and higher education. Because we could realize that last year we went to visit schools. Our, education and, committee of ICT and education. You realize that textbooks was a problem. But this year we had put pressure, they are printing textbooks in GPPC to make sure at least schools are also being given textbooks. So learning material, if they are lacking in schools, it becomes a big challenge. Connecting the whole issue of SIG into educational development study, we told them to scrap that out. Because with SIG coming little, the schools are growing, the population of schools are growing. At the end of the day, what SIG can be beneficiary, you will not even see a blink of it. So let them take charge of educational status quo and now build that resilience to keep a growing momentum into what we want to dilate as a perfect school, so that as a perfect economic, without which it becomes a challenge. And now also, when you look at the agricultural sector, they should graduate more onto projects than realities, whereby governments should take the lead in funding certain issues of agricultural production. Because, for example, when you depend on donors, I don't know, some of those projects would fail. If donors retrieve back, the project becomes an elephant project. And this is why we are seeing a lot of those projects being elephant projects, where you only see billboards all over the country. This is one of the biggest ministries that has 1,001 billboards. When you visit, nothing is seen. So at the end of the day, it becomes a challenge. And the minister himself is more of a politician, not an agriculturist. So I wonder why Barrow has even changed the Minister of Agriculture against Amir Fabure, who is a seasonal agriculturist, who had the vision and who has the capacity to change the status of that agricultural unit. But instead, it was ceded and given to somebody who has no idea in agriculture. Only maybe
again, he argues he does not need to have any idea about,
so this is why we are seeing
the way groundnuts are grown or whatever.
This is why we are seeing the mess in agriculture.
He deals with policy.
The policy that we are seeing in agriculture, this is why we have a mess in agriculture. What has grown? What has changed? 8 years, a country. This was a government that said, within a period, they'll be able to at least have homegrown rice. I can tell you.
Aren't we having that?
I haven't seen it. Where is the Vision 2016 rice that was packed, stored at Banjul store? It was labeled, grown in the Gambia, produced in the Gambia by the then government. They went and seared all those rice. I told the commission, the select committee of the current,
Jammeh assets?
Jammeh assets. They have to investigate this. We want to know.
What did you
Who took those rights?
Have you appeared before it?
No, for me, I haven't appeared. They haven't called me.
Would you like to be called?
If they call me, I'll come.
Would you like to be called?
Yes, I told them. Yesterday, I even met the chair. If you're interested in me, call me. And I'm ready to appear. And I can give you a lot of salient issues that I had made onto it. And I can tell you, Peter, this alone, yesterday what they have done, I told them is thumbs up for a job well done. This security officer was the maintainer. I can even say, I don't know what name would I give him. This is a guy who will now solidly dismantle brown new Pajeros and Mitsubishi cars and cut them into Ferrari if they dig into the archives of this man.
This is Sergeant Jan.
They'll be very sorry.
We have a report on his issues with the committee coming up. So how do you continue to justify your ties to President Jammeh? You're a strong ally of his, as I said at the beginning. What's your reaction to the announcement last Sunday that he planned to return to this country next month?
Or before we talk to that, I think you've talked about the issue of the the audit report, which was...
That's where we started. I thought we finished...
No, I wanted to talk of some of this time, 2020, 2021.
Yes.
I can tell you over...
Well, it's over a 3-year period, 2021 to 2023.
2023. Yes. So in 2021,
yes,
amounting about 5 billion and 2 billion receipts and payment respectively from 2019 to 2021. That is nowhere to be seen. Amounting to 5 billion. In that 5 billion, 2 billion is about receipts. So the receipts were unable to be identified respectively from the period of 2019 to 2021. So now when you talk of projects that are unreconciled, amounting to over 48 million for receipts and 185 million for payments. All these were unreconciled amounts that are not even seen. And now when you talk about the non-repayment of state-laden SOEs amounting to 266 million, that include the principal and the interest payments. So all these are audit reports that are also been done. Now, if you talk about on the estimated revenue collection of sand mining, is amounting over 46 million. These were monies that nobody could tell you where they are. And on accounted revenue also from exports of timber by agents through the Gambia Ports Authority, amounting to over 441 million. So these were reports that were done. And now the interesting part that the commission is squarely dealing about the sales of assets of Jammeh. They said 724 cattle were sold to an amount of 8 million without evidence of receipts being provided to the audit team. No receipts provided to the audit team. You said 724 cattle were sold, amounting to $8 million. No receipts were sold to the audit team and said, okay, this car, this receipt, this car, this receipt. So ideally, you realize that this is one of the biggest jokes. And now, when you look at the vehicle that was sold by Ibrahim Ajalo, 6 million in 2020, and later the buyer sold this car again to 12 million with the same year to Ajib Bank. You bought 6 million. The same year, you bought that car. Yeah. The same year, you sell it at 12 million. So that's why I said this Jammeh Commission is called Terry Kavo Commission.
Would you have loved to serve on the committee?
No, for me.
That's investigating the Jammeh assets.
I exonerated myself.
Okay.
From it.
They would say conflict of interest.
Exactly. No, for me also, I will not even be patient.
Okay.
And I will end up fighting. The way the situation is.
Peter Gomez will appear before you and try to be concealing information. Then you'll physically attack him.
Exactly. So these are all issues that I think generally, works towards the issues of. Now, interesting part of it before we go to the Jammeh issue.
I'll give you a couple of minutes to close out on the audit report.
Yes. Payment of a totaling of 64 million. That is during COVID-19. Were made to 39 vendors for the supply of 58,500 bags of 50 kilograms of rice. 50 kilo of rice to the Gambian government. However, this was what they did. However, only 17,096 bags were actually delivered. This meant 41,404 bags remain undelivered.
Okay.
So you see.
All right.
So actually, you realize that all these are issues that you work. If you go to 2020 report, missing documents of appropriation of receiving administration, it's a mess. And this was why the donors said the report. You see, when you look at that day in Parliament, what we normally do, the report is laid in Parliament. We push it to FPAC to work on it, and now come with recommendation resolutions. Then we'll work with those resolutions and approve. This was a normal syndrome. But you see, instead...
You were saying something about donors.
Yes.
Reaction to the report.
So instead...
Yes.
Instead, it is now been... We've agreed in Parliament. Let it be published straight. And FPAC will do their needful, do the recommendation, then we work towards it. Because why? It was attacked by donors that it has to be published, or else nothing will come.
Okay. So without the donors, we might not have seen the...
Exactly.
So how do you react to the Auditor General, who was the one that actually, oversaw the production of these reports, being removed from his position?
No, it's a joke.
It's not a joke. It's a reality. He's not there anymore. It's someone else who is there.
That's what I'm saying. The act was a joke.
The action was a joke.
A big one.
Okay.
Because if, for example, a government that is realistic in accountability and transparency, you employ me, I go and say, I'm not interested, leave me in my position. It was just like a target.
That's not what the government says. The government says initially he accepted.
That's what I'm saying now. I can prove this. We debated this. I am the one who brought matter of the day in the Parliament. Dr. Ismail Assise, the spokesperson of the Minister of Information.
Actually, he's the minister.
Yes.
In the Ministry of Information.
Exactly, the Minister of Information.
Yes.
Cannot evidently give you a letter of acceptance from the Auditor General. Governance, let's not be blindfolded by the sweet talks of this government. If, for example, you're given an offer, I should accept before even announcing. Why the haste? And I can tell you, he said within less than even hours, from Office of the President, he went that very day and declared. That very day, not the day. Verbally, you gave me the letter, I look at it, verbally I came and said, I cannot take this offer. I want where I am. The following day, he wrote a letter. Now, let the government produce us a letter that he said he has accepted.
The issue is in court, so we might as just
exactly. So I think generally, for me, I have frowned using police officers to go into an office, winch him, remove him as if he's a vulnerable person.
What should they have done in this case? Because he was unwilling to relinquish his position.
That willingness is let them negotiate. Because no evidence later of acceptance. They should learn enough. And now, I am telling you, most of these offices, or most of the committees that he has set in the audit report, you will see them. Because one of it that has threatened this government is the forensic unit. The
forensic unit of the audit.
This is the main challenge.
Okay.
And now, sooner or later,
I need to go to a break. On